दोस्तों इस क्लास में आपको डिक्टेशन दूंगा मैं 100 WPM पर एसएससी और DSSSB के लिए जो स्पेशल मैटर मैंने तैयार किए हैं उसकी आपको डिक्टेशन प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूं 100 WPM पर। बी रेडी फॉर इट। This constitution has been completed as a result of agreement amongst most of us. I feel that in that particular matter we have exposed the common man to become the subject of litigation which might probably take years before a final decision is reached and might retard our economic progress. I have done so because there are a number of points in this constitution which have been agreed to by friends who hold different views. Sir, I have no desire to stand in the way of honorable friends who might like to speak for a few minutes. I would ask my honorable friend to look into Article 366 which provides the answer. I did want to deal with this aspect, but I do not think I have got time. My honorable friend raised the point in regard to the position of a Raj Pramukh who misbehaved, against which he felt there was no provision, whereas we have a provision against possible misbehavior by a governor. I think that particular clause which is there is adequate for all purposes in regard to keeping Raj Pramukhs in proper behavior. In fact, there is another point that was raised by an honorable friend who spoke to me also about it in regard to Article 371 and in particular in regard to the position of High Court judges in the states. Article 371, as it has been conceded by other friends here, is a purely transitory provision and you must leave it to the government of the day to see that it is not put into operation against states which are advanced, and so far as salaries of High Court judges in the states are concerned, so long as the salary of a High Court judge in states in Part A is high. If we impose the same standard on the states will become bankrupt. Certain anomalies are bound to arise because we have put the Indian states and the provinces together, but without putting them together, we will have created a constitution which would be something which will not be uniform. Actually, that point has been raised by some of our honorable friends, but the limitations are there and we have aimed at uniformity subject to those limitations. I would like to mention one matter which I think the House will agree with me is to be regretted. My honorable friend and colleague Shri K.M. Munshi was eager to participate in the debate at the final stages. In fact, I think he has something constructive to say as well as in regard to the criticisms made particularly about separation of powers, the nature of the constitution and so on, but unfortunately he has developed a temperature and has sore throat which keeps him more or less bedridden. I have no doubt the members of this House who, like him as much as I do, would wish for his speedy recovery and regret that he is not with us today when we are finalizing the work that we have carried on for over 3 years, in which Shri K. M. Munshi had played a very important part. Sir, may I mention the debts that we as a drafting committee have to discharge, particularly to the ministries of the Government of India. The Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of External Affairs and the Home Ministry have been very good to us and have assisted us considerably. With regard to the States Ministry, we owe to Mr. Menon and his assistants this task of integrating the states into this constitution, and they have been very accommodating and helpful. So far as the Law Ministry is concerned, I should like to mention two persons, the Secretary and Joint Secretary, who have been of very great use to us in so far as ultimately the Constitution is to be handed over to them. It is only right that they should do so, but I think that I would be failing in my duty if I do not mention by name the great services they have rendered to us. I would also like to endorse what members of this House have said in regard to the services of Mr. B. N. Rao. His help we missed during the last stages, but while missing his help, we were aware of the enormous amount of assistance we had received from him during the earlier part of this work, and particularly he was so progressive in his views, so sympathetic and so quick as to be able to evolve a formula whenever we had a difficulty. Sir, I should also be failing in my duty if I do not mention that very happy circumstances about which honorable friends have also made mention of the fact that we were able to find a joint secretary and draftsman of the caliber of Shri S. N. Mukherjee. It is no exaggeration to say that he was a real find. Not only is his ability as a draftsman so profound, but more than that, his willingness to work was even greater. And the House will also like to be told that practically everybody from Mr. Khanna downwards to the clerks, superintendents and the reporters have had the work very hard. For the last 8 to 10 months, having been closely associated with the work of the drafting committee and having voluntarily undertaken some portion of its mechanical work, I was in a position to see that these young people were working on most days till midnight. This is all because they were so enthusiastic. The last 1 month has been a month of very severe strain to them. I do hope that the House will recognize the work done by them in framing this constitution, which is of a very vital and important nature. Sir, it would be out of place for me not to mention the services of the two great leaders, and it is a pity that they are not here today to say a few words. Stop. दोस्तों इसी के साथ ही डिक्टेशन फिनिश होती है। बहुत ही अच्छी डिक्टेशन है, उम्मीद है आप लोगों ने इसे अच्छे से लिखा होगा। कंटिन्यू मेहनत करते रहिए। डिक्टेशन में फ्लक्चुएशंस ऑलरेडी हैं। काफ़ी बच्चों की ये क्वेरी है कि डिक्टेशंस में 105 WPM पर प्रोवाइड करूँ एग्जाम के लिए। तो बच्चों आपसे ये मेरे को कहना है कि जो डिक्टेशंस मैं आपको प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूँ इसमें ऑलरेडी फ्लक्चुएशंस हैं 105 तक। तो एग्जाम में आपको ओवरऑल 100 WPM की डिक्टेशन मिलती है, बट बीच में फ्लक्चुएशंस थोड़ी बहुत होती हैं। तो वो थोड़ी बहुत फ्लक्चुएशंस को देखते हुए, बिल्कुल एग्जाम ओरिएंटेड बनाते हुए डिक्टेशन को मैं 100 WPM पर आपको प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूँ। बीच में फ्लक्चुएशंस इसमें होती हैं, 95 तक जाती हैं तो नीचे 105 तक जाती हैं तो नीचे 95 96 पे भी आती हैं। तो वो फ्लक्चुएशन बनी रहती है जो आपको एग्जाम में मिलती है। ठीक है, तो आप अच्छे से प्रैक्टिस कीजिए। आपसे मुलाकात करता हूँ अगली क्लास में अगली ट्रांसक्रिप्शन के साथ। तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, टेक केयर।